This is Międzyrzec Podlaski in eastern Poland. This street's called Ulica Lubelska, and this, before the war, was one of the poshest places in the town to actually live. I've read quite a lot about what it was like here before World War II. There are some witness accounts, and some witness accounts you can find even on YouTube. This is the River Krzna, that's Krzna. Try pronouncing that after a few drinks. And this town here was very wealthy in the 1930s. It is located absolutely in the centre of Poland. It was known for quite a number of businesses, but the most important business here of all was the brush making business. Presumably the brushes from here had a quality which was respected, and they had exports to a large number of countries. Brushes from here could be found even in Argentina. In 1935, the value of brushes, just from this town alone to the United States was $3.5 million. That is quite a lot of money for the time, for a place absolutely as it was then in central Poland. Today it's no longer in central Poland because the borders changed as a result of World War II. So now it's only about 25 kilometers or thereabouts from the border with Belarus. Following the Soviet aggression against Poland on the 17th of September 1939, alongside the Soviet ally, the Nazi Germany, then Soviets kept most of the land that they occupied during the time of their alliance with Nazi Germany. This town before the war was more than 3/4 Jewish. This was it wasn't the largest, it wasn't the capital of the county of Radzin, but it was the largest town, and it was without doubt an industrial centre. Now, despite the fact that people could make a lot of money here and there were wealthy people here, I did read an account from 1937 about the hygienic standards here, and there's something written about the rubbish disposal in this street here in Ulica Lubelska, and about how the horrendous account of how the dirty water ended up in the river. Now let's move on a bit. So this first Nazi planes, in fact, were seen over here on the 1st of September 1939. So it's a very long way from the borders. It was bombed, I think it was the 4th of September for the very first time. It was occupied by the Nazis. They only stayed 2 or 3 days, Germans, and then the Soviets took over. But there was Stalin wanted to renegotiate the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, and in exchange for giving Hitler the land between the Vistula and the Bug, Stalin took Lithuania, because that was originally assigned to the Nazis, to Germany. So the terror started almost immediately, but according to an account actually I read, that in the first few weeks after the invasion of the Soviet Union, it was as though the Germans forgot about the Jews living here. And nonetheless, however, they did create a ghetto here. They created a ghetto in a poor area of town. Now, in this case, as the town was almost so many Jews living here, it wasn't a Jewish area, so to speak. And the ghetto was also, it was fenced off as well after 1942. Initially it was an open ghetto, just about all the ghettos. Of course, the ghettos could be open, but people couldn't really leave. If they were found outside the ghetto, then they could be shot. They could also be shot for not wearing the armband. So, and anybody give them any assistance could also be shot alongside their entire families. So it was very difficult for anybody to do anything about it. Here we have, this is the main square here, and I'm going to come on to that. Here we have a war memorial, and I'm going to sort of read this bit to you. So it says that this monument was put up by the local community in 1929. It was blown up by the Germans in 1940 and replaced in 1959. If I come round here, I think this is the best place to start. No, it's not the best place to start, but best place to start is here. And there, so here we've got local people who were killed, battle here, 16th of November 1918. So that was in Poland's struggle there for independence. And if I now come round here, so you've got the battlefields of 1939 and 1945. I always think that these are somewhat chosen at random. Worth noting here, of course, Westerplatte, Kutno, Warsaw, Modlin, Kotz, Puszcza Solska. So that's in the Polish campaign 1939. Kotsk was a battle near here, was very last, I would say, just about last battle of the campaign. Lenino was a battle fought by troops who had been recruited in the Soviet Union in 1939. And let's now come round here. And so here we have those who fell for the motherland, and in the battles there, so 16th of November 1918. And here we have the thing I really wanted to show, to be honest, is the places of torture 1939, 1945, starting off with Majdanek, Lublin, Kassel, Auschwitz, Brzezinka, Birkenau, Bełżec, Radzin, prison, Treblinka, Dębice, Grosshosen, Dachau, Ravensbrück, Belsen, Stutthof, Gusen, Oranienburg. Strangely enough, local camp Sobibor is not mentioned. The population here was sent to Treblinka. From other places, there would have come people being deported to Sobibor would have gone very close to here. It would seem they were deported to there may be evidence that people from here were sent to Sobibor, but as far as I'm aware, they were all sent to Treblinka. In this square in 1942-43, there are accounts and photographs of those of Jews being held here. In some cases, one case in the pouring rain, in other cases in the heat of the summer, and are waiting to be put onto trains to be sent to Treblinka. In here, because this was used as a transit ghetto, so when the other ghettos were closed down, people were sort of held here waiting to be sent to Treblinka above all. So, and this is where they were collected. Międzyrzec, the ghetto here, lasted until the summer of 1943, so it lasted longer than the Warsaw ghetto. And just looking at it now, being here now, I find this even quite, I don't know, emotional. Maybe I'm in sort of a state at the moment, having come across one or two things that sort of upset me recently. But to see it, I'm very glad it survived, put it that way, and I'm glad that we can recognise in the photographs these buildings, which often isn't the case because of the destruction of the Second World War. So from that point of view, but to think of the people who were here in those photographs, clearly visible, and what actually happened to them. There's on YouTube, I watched yesterday, there's a video of a lady who was born in 1931, so she was quite young when she saw the people here in the pouring rain, but she said she could see them from a distance of around 20 meters, but she didn't want to get too close. She said the terror was such for the non-Jewish population that they were terrified of actually joining the group of Jews who were here and then being sent away. Also, I do want to mention, and I'll mention this in several other videos, is Christopher Browning's book on ordinary men. You know, also Daniel Goldhagen's as well, which sort of deals with the same documents about what happened here in this square as part of the book. And anyway, I think it's worth looking at. So I'm going to do videos related to what happened here during the Second World War. But for the moment, I hope you found that interesting. I'm speaking off the top of my head, and something to speak off the top of your head, you make mistakes, and that's the first thing. So, which I hope mistakes aren't made in the things I actually write down first. Although I have got this tendency to write things down, and then I come off the script, and well, that can happen. But in the documentary style videos, then I hope there's very few mistakes. If there is, it's due to research problems. Usually, occasionally, I can give the wrong date. Instead of saying 1942, I can say 1842. When I'm speaking off the top of my head, trying to ignore other people, and I've got the church in the background, for example, other things, it's much easier to say something incorrect. So let's hope that there wasn't too many mistakes in that. Anyway, now you've seen this, Międzyrzec Podlaski. Oh, and there you go. I said I hadn't found anything, and here it is. There you are. For the Jews of Międzyrzec and the area who were murdered by the German occupant during the Holocaust, 1939-1944. Blood. Oh, I don't want to try and translate that. Here, it's up here. How's the voice of your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. Oh, actually, that is a good. Yeah, no, I'll accept that as a translation. Well, I'm glad to say at least it's here. And when I started off by saying I haven't seen anything yet, well, there is this monument. Anyway, there you go. Yale Artsy Israel 2008. Thanks for watching.